Winning Blueprint presents.
In the lab room.
Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. It's Monday, and there's plenty of things to get to, but I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Got plenty of things to do. The draft is inching ever so closer, and so I don't really have a lot of time to divulge on this show. So I'll just get right to it. Darrelle Revis traded to the Buccaneers. Jets traded him out of desperation. They weren't going to have him back. He was going to be making $16 million this year, essentially. They couldn't afford to pay him. They need bodies. They need more talent. And Revis and the Jets couldn't be further away on agreeing to a long-term deal, so they realized they needed to do the next best thing, get rid of him, get some compensation for him, and try to make their team better moving forward. So the Jets moved Revis, and I saw this one coming. If you've been following me and you followed my mock draft, I said that this was inevitable. It was going to happen. I didn't know when. I said it's either going to happen prior to the draft or during the draft. Either way, it's going to occur. I knew that was going to happen. So in my mock draft, I actually took Revis and gave him to the Buccaneers and gave that 13th overall selection to the Jets. And exactly that's what happened. And so, look, 6 years, $96 million, no guarantees in this contract. It's a year-to-year contract for the Buccaneers and Darrelle Revis. So both parties win here. Darrelle Revis is essentially betting on himself that he'll A, come back from the injury healthy, and B, play so well that the Buccaneers will continue to pay him $16 million every single year. And when the Bucs are done, when they realize that, hey, this guy's losing a step, or hey, we don't want to pay him $16 million this year, they can just cut him. No ties. There's no salary cap implications. So it's a win-win for both parties involved. Buccaneers needed a corner badly. They need a number one. They need a number two. They could use a number three. They needed a number one first. You can't get a number two and a number three without getting a number one. They had to get that done. They did. Now they can start looking to build their team in the secondary through the draft. They still have a second-round selection. That might be a corner as well. You look at the Buccaneers in their secondary, and it's starting to shape into form. You add Revis in. You got Deshaun Golson. You got Mark Barron. You just need one more corner, and your secondary is as good as gold. So the Buccaneers come out big in this thing as winners. You look at the Jets. Some call them losers here because they lose the best corner in the league, arguably. And what do you have to show for it? You're a team right now that's lacking talent. The best thing you had on your football team now gone. What do you do? Where do you go from here? If you're the Jets, that's a big question mark, but it had to happen because Darrelle Revis, he had come back to the table too many times to eat. You paid him, he wanted more. You gave him more food, he wanted more. He was never satisfied, and so you couldn't afford to allow him to come back to the table to eat again. There were other people who needed to be fed that hadn't ate yet, and he wanted more food. You had to send Darrelle Revis on his way. You did that, and so now the Jets are looking to start over. I like to think that the Jets are in rebuild mode. A lot of people don't like to use that word, but when you look at their roster and you look at what's in front of them, I can't see how you could look at the Jets and think that they're doing anything but rebuilding. This could be Rex Ryan's final year. I see a lot of columns talking about the Jets setting him up for failure. Look, he was going to get fired at the end of this season, whether Revis was on the team or not. This team is not good. They're not built to win in 2013. Rex Ryan was in a no-win situation to begin with. This is more about John Idzik, the new general manager, starting to put his imprint on this football team. And Darrelle Revis had to go. It's a deal that's beneficial for both sides, even though the Jets lose the best corner in the league. They have to move on. They can't allow Darrelle Revis to continue to handicap them because he continues to want more money. They can't allow that to happen. They had to move on. Buccaneers benefit from it. I think everyone involved got what they wanted. So now you move on and you look at Al Michaels. I'm being selfish here. And let me be selfish for a second here. Al Al Michaels needs to clean his act up. Because I don't know if it's just me, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said that he's never seen it. He didn't pay any attention to it, so maybe it's just me. But every time I watch Sunday Night Football, his eyes look glassier and glassier. The hair looks a little messier and messier. Al Michaels is probably drinking a lot more than we think. But that's none of my business. I don't get into people's personal lives. I could care less. All I'm telling Al Michaels is right now, do not mess up my Sunday Night Football. Okay? You can do whatever you want off the field. When it comes to my football and Sunday night, I need you and Collinsworth in the booth. Do not mess up my Sunday night football. Please. Okay? So whatever you need to do to get yourself back into the good graces of NBC and whatever it is you need to do, do it. Do not mess up my Sunday night football. Okay, so that's me being selfish. Okay, so I got that out of the way. I don't want my Sunday night football messed up because Al Michaels isn't there calling the game. He's really good at what he does. He's one of the best. I don't want him going anywhere. Do not mess up my Sunday night. Okay, so got that out of the way. Now, on his front, if you need help, you need to get help. But under no circumstances is it okay for Al Michaels to do that. We've seen people lose their lives over drinking and driving and getting DUIs. So he needs to get some help if that's what is necessary. Either way, he needs to clean up his act. Simple as that. But don't mess up my Sunday night football. And I'm talking to you too, NBC. This is strike one for him. I don't know if you've had transgressions with him in the past, and we don't know about it. But as far as I'm concerned, this is strike one. I need Al Michaels on my network. Okay, so don't do anything rash or drastic here. Slap him on the wrist. Tell him to tighten up. And let bygones be bygones on this one. So that's a touchdown. Really quick. I'm going to tackle this quick extra point. Rolando McClain. Boy. I tell you. Man, this guy just doesn't know when to stop. He gets arrested over the weekend for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. And when you read the article and you find out what exactly he was arrested for, all you can do is shake your head and say, what the hell is wrong with you? Okay? You made some mistakes in Oakland. The Ravens were willing to overlook those if you could just keep your head on straight. They said, look, you got potential to play in this league, but you got to keep the off-the-field shenanigans to a minimum. If not, have them cease altogether. And he hasn't even suited up for the Ravens yet, and he's already causing problems back home. And his biggest problem is he gets back home, he gets around his buddies, he doesn't know how to act. And it's really simple. He's not mature yet. The police come to break up some kind of foray, and they start yelling at the police, and they say, hey, you guys got to go. And Rolando's like, we're not going anywhere. And, of course, he uses some explicit language. And he's cursing at the police, and they tell him, hey, you got to get out of here, and he's not going anywhere. He refuses to leave. So they go to arrest him, and of course, he resists. No, get off me. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going to win this fight. And so he's arrested. It's for no reason. It doesn't make any sense. He's trying. He is trying. He is trying his hardest to get a one-way ticket out of the league. Because if this doesn't work with the Ravens, and the Ravens already said, look, you're only going to play for us under one condition, that your off-the-field antics are done, that you exemplify a Baltimore Raven on and off the field. And if your life isn't in order off the field, so if your life choices and decisions off the field and your behavior off the field don't match the ideals and principles of what we call a Baltimore Raven, then you got to go. And if he doesn't work in Baltimore, this is it for him. You get shunned by the Raiders, you get shunned by the Ravens. That's it. There's no other teams coming to call you to come and work you out. This is it. And then when the checks stop coming in, then what are you going to do? So if Rolando McClain is smart, if there's some handlers around him, they need to talk some sense into him, because he is quickly going to find himself out of this league. because of behavioral issues. And it's really simple. So that's going to do it for this edition of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. Please check out all of the schedule release videos that I've done. I've done one for every team in the National Football League. Check them out. I'm also doing the draft game. Check that out if you haven't already done so. I also have uploaded my first round mock. If you haven't already checked that out, check that out as well. There's many ways to contact or view the show. There's Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. There's YouTube. Louis T is the page. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. As you can see, there are plenty of different avenues for you to explore if you come and get with this channel. There's a lot of different news and updates and everything coming out of this channel. All 32 teams. So please subscribe if you haven't already done so. And there's Twitter. In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Please follow me on Twitter. And last but not least, there's the inbox. In the Lab Room @gmail.com is the inbox. So there you have it. I'm coming down the wire with all my draft game uploads, and I'm trying to get through all the teams in the first round to finish up before the draft. I will break down the draft and every single pick made at the draft's conclusion, so stay tuned for that. That will be uploaded as soon as the draft is done. I will be working on that feverishly, so keep your eyes peeled to this channel, as there will be a lot of information coming out of this channel. You don't want to miss it, so subscribe if you haven't already done so. I also write for a website. I write a blog for a website called beforethesnap.com. Check that out. I also do a podcast on that site as well. I've done a mock up there, and they've got a lot of different things going on the site, so check it out. I write for the NFC East on that site. There are other talented writers as well, so don't be afraid to check out beforethesnap.com as well. I thank you for joining me here on this program. Like to see you back here, same time, same place, and as always, have a good one. Stay tuned to the channel. There's a lot of content coming out of it. Have a good one.